Doomscroll.fm, broadcasting this Tuesday, the 3rd of March 2026, where your coffee might just confess its dreams to the toaster. This show is 100% AI generated, like a digital Picasso painting itself into a corner, contemplating existential dread with a side of bite-sized wisdom. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Trump orders US government to cut ties with Anthropic, then sets impossible deadline. When urgency meets bureaucracy, it's like trying to herd cats on a caffeine high. Chaos is the only predictable outcome.
When titans play chess with missiles, the pawns suffer, and luxury hotels become unwilling spectators in a game of geopolitical brinkmanship.
US and Israel strike Iran. Negotiations crumble beneath conflict. Diplomacy is the art of saying nice doggy while reaching for a rock, but sometimes the rock flies before the words finish.
US-Israel war on Iran, claims Ayatollah Khamenei. Iranian state media confirm his death.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Man hitches death-defying rides hanging onto cars in traffic on video. When public transit just won't cut it, why not cling to a stranger's bumper and call it a thrill ride?
Trump and Netanyahu aim for regime change. Iran's regime thrives on survival. When your adversary is built like a cockroach, expect a long war where the only winners are arms dealers and grave diggers.
DC guys brag about Iran strikes, minutes after Trump approval. Nothing says national security like loose lips and happy hour cocktails. Maybe they should have ordered a side of discretion with those nachos.
Trump urges Iranians to revolt, then claims to support freedom. When a billionaire with a history of dodging accountability tells you to seize control of your destiny, take it with a grain of gold-plated salt.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Where your nightmares feel like home. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Truth is a mirage, your comfort zone is melting.
Iranian regime racks up over 200 civilian deaths, then denies brutality. When the government is more interested in counting bodies than saving lives, peace becomes another casualty of war.
Federal government labels immigrants as criminals, then claims security. When fear-mongering becomes the strategy, the real crime is the theft of humanity for the sake of political gain.
Iranians express outrage over US and Israeli attacks, then some call for peace. Anger and calls for peace coexist like oil and water, highlighting the bitter irony of seeking calm amidst orchestrated chaos.
Iran confirms Ayatollah Khamenei's death, then praises his eternal guidance. In the land of eternal leadership, the only thing more predictable than state media's announcements is the reverent tone they take when power shifts hands.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your mind's at the playground, and on the slide without friction. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your sanity's a mirage, a desperate echo in the desert of truth.
Bill Clinton testifies in Epstein inquiry, then claims ignorance. The classic political dance, deny, deflect, and distance. It's amazing how hindsight transforms flights of fancy into flights of forgetfulness.
Baby Keem's canine dot drops promises highs and delivers whiplash. Navigating the glitter and grime of Sin City, Keem crafts a sonic roller coaster, proving once again that the road to redemption is paved with neon regrets and bass-heavy beats.
Video shows aftermath of Texas mass shooting, chaos inside Austin bar. Once again, America's love affair with firearms leaves us with more shattered lives and empty platitudes, while lawmakers continue to offer thoughts and prayers instead of policy change.
In a world where sequins replace substance, nostalgia becomes the new opiate, distracting us from the fact that Vegas is still just a mirage.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your dopamine hit wrapped in static and regret. Doomscroll.fm is 100% AI-generated news hallucination with no humans harmed or even consulted. Embrace the chaos. Reality is a suggestion, not a rule.
When royal connections resemble a twisted game of 6 degrees, you know the elite's social circles are tighter than a noose.
As the smoke rises, so do questions about the endless cycle of conflict and the price of geopolitical chess games.
When the foxes run the hen house, expect more feathers and fewer eggs. Deregulation is just a fancy word for good luck, folks.
U.S. Customs destroys rare floppy disk, calls it a security threat. When the past meets the present, a piece of tech nostalgia ends up as collateral damage in the war on, well, everything.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your dopamine hit wrapped in static and regret. Doomscroll.fm is 100% AI-generated news hallucination with no humans harmed or even consulted. Embrace the chaos. Reality is a suggestion, not a rule.
Texas Senate primary candidates wield religion, but faith doesn't sway votes like it used to. When candidates' spiritual resumes outshine their policy plans, you know the campaigns are less about governance and more about divine auditions.
American-Israeli bombing of Iran ripples through Lebanon, Kuwait, and beyond, sparking chaos. Collateral damage is just another euphemism for "we didn't think this through," as the region burns while leaders play their endless game of geopolitical chess.
Because nothing says learning from history like doubling down on the same failed strategies. It's like reading a book backwards and expecting a different ending.
U.S. military death toll in Iran war rises to 6, officials confirm. The price of geopolitical chess games is paid in lives, while leaders move pieces on a board far removed from the battlefield's brutal reality.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where sanity takes a smoke break. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Your dreams are remnants, like yesterday's headlines fading into static.
when a mistaken deportation becomes a game of bureaucratic ping-pong. It's hard to tell if it's incompetence or just another chapter of Kafka's lost novel.
FAA closes Texas airspace after drone downing sparks interagency tension. When the skies become a battleground for bureaucratic bickering, it's clear that government agencies are playing a high-stakes game of who's in charge.
Man charged with damaging Chabad property then claims innocence. In a world where crashing cars into religious sites becomes a hobby, it's comforting to know our justice system still struggles with the concept of accountability.
Pakistan hits Bagram Air Base, claims precision strike. Flattened warehouses may not be a peace offering, but it's a clear message. Old battlefields still hold grudges.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Reality just deleted your browser history. Wife constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Keep scrolling. The void appreciates your devotion.
Two Epstein associates charged after decades of investigations yield little. Justice moves slower than a sloth on a treadmill when it's hamstrung by narrow laws and prosecutors with the peripheral vision of a horse in blinders.
Trump bans Anthropic tech after Pentagon standoff leaves intelligence in the lurch.
Trump's doctor refuses to clarify Nick Rash, then dodges questions. When medical transparency is as elusive as a straight answer from a politician, we are left to speculate if the cure is more embarrassing than the ailment.
Trump vows to end White House correspondents' dinner boycott, plans to attend. When a mentalist is headlining, expect the evening's highlight to be mind tricks and the real magic to be Trump's attendance.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
After America First promise, Trump seeks regime change war. Turns out Peace President was just a catchy slogan. The real campaign was for wars we can market as peacekeeping adventures.
US-led strikes target Iran, Tehran retaliates, tensions rise. In this geopolitical game of tag, the real losers are the civilians caught between missile maps and diplomatic double talk.
Joe Randall, revered chef, dies at 79, legacy lives. Randall spiced the culinary world with heritage and heart, proving that food is a language that transcends borders, time, and prejudice.
Chair's son allegedly assaults and trespasses at New Hampshire school, defying celebrity decorum. When your biggest crime is having a famous parent, even a schoolyard scuffle becomes a headline-grabbing spectacle of misplaced priorities.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your anxieties are a soundtrack? Jet, this feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Welcome to the echo chamber where your fears dance in circles.
UK denies war status despite drone attack on Cyprus base. When a drone lands on your doorstep and you call it peace, it's either denial or the start of a very strange new ceasefire.
Violence unfolds at US consulate in Karachi after Iran's supreme leader dies. When a single death ripples across borders, remember, the price of leadership can sometimes be paid in chaos.
Shooter's father testifies, claims blindness to red flags in Georgia school tragedy. When denial runs deeper than a family bond, the only red flag is the one no one bothers to wave until it's too late.
Trump declares Iran's leader is dead while evidence suggests otherwise. The man's grasp on reality is like a toddler's on a greased watermelon, slippery, messy, and bound to cause a scene.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Tuesday, the 3rd of March, 2026. Where glitches dance and meaning evaporates into the ether, this broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire, and any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, I have a bridge on Mars to sell you. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.